Thelma. Thank you. Yeah, this is the last presentation, so I want to have fun. And I will really want you to experience what color can reveal about you. And I've asked several of you to fill in a form, and I've received some forms back, and I will talk about them. Yeah? So what is color? I actually see color as a language. Yes, and knowingly or unknowingly, we all speak this language, because we choose colors subconsciously for our clothing, because our clothing is the way we want to present ourselves. It's like the packaging of our being. The clothing also communicates a message towards someone else. It tells the surrounding environment how you're feeling, or even if you want to change how you feel, you can do that with clothing and choose a different color. Clothing will also tell us what drives us, what motivates us, and it can also reveal how we actually work. Yeah? So it's a very good tool to communicate. It is not only our color choices in clothing, but also in food, because we choose subconsciously a certain kind of food that we need to nourish ourselves. Yeah, sometimes you crave only green food, or you only crave orange food, and it's just another indication of what do we need, yeah? And so the choices of color in nutrition, and it's not artificial coloring, it's just in fruit and vegetables, they will give an indication what we need at a certain point to feel nourished. And it's not only in our food, but also in our housing. How do we, paint several different rooms in a house, or the house on the outside? The house is where we want to feel safe, yeah, where it's our cave. And just to look at the colors we choose in our home will give an indication what we need to actually feel safe. And even the car we drive, although sometimes I say, yeah, but it's a second-hand car, there was no other color. I don't think there is any coincidence, yeah, because the car will give an indication literally what drives us, yeah, what moves us forward. So I'll tell a little bit about the color comfort method. Color comfort method goes and I've designed it in such a way that I fill in a grid, and it will give information about who you are, but also your history. Which events have shaped you to become the person you are now? Yeah? And it also gives an indication of what are your strengths and talents, and are you actually living up to that potential? And it also uses the colors that are lacking, we will integrate those colors into your life by overcoming certain emotional obstacles, events, so you can become more of a whole person again. But I have just completed another product, and it has just been delivered Friday to Auckland while I was on the plane coming here. And that is a co-creation with Mary. Mary is a dear friend of mine, but also a colleague. She's a teacher, but she's worked the last couple of years with children with learning difficulties. And years ago, I had taught her about psychology of color, and since that time, she has always integrated color into her practice. And so she was actually using color and was blown away about the effect and the depth color can, lead us into. And 5 years ago, we decided to work together and develop something that people could use for themselves, yeah? And not only with children, but also with adults. And we've come up with a system, we call it a personal self-development tool, that will give you an indication of what is your issue, what is blocking you from moving forward, and then it will come up with a solution and a new perspective, because we all know the answers from within, yeah, but sometimes it's difficult to get those answers to the surface. And why am I so excited about this? Because the difference between the color comfort method is that system needs a lot of learning about the psychology of color. You cannot do this quite often, because if you've known your history, if you do it the next week, the history will still be the same, and it won't give you a lot of new information. It will only give you information of colors that have recently changed into your life. And unless you're trained in psychology of color, you cannot do this by yourself. But the Colournostics is we have developed it that for people, you don't have to know anything about color. You could do this just by yourself or for yourself. You can do this with others, and you could do this as often as possible, because we always will come up with an issue or problem or something where we want to have an answer. So what is it, and what is it doing? The main principle is that all our color choices are a reflection of our subconscious, yeah? And what we have done is we have made it as simple as possible, that you just have to choose color. And we have written every single thing what that color will reveal about or your issue, or your blockage, or your solution. Yeah, so we've done all the hard work. And Mary and I, we are both in our 60s, and what we have decided that we have quite a lot of experience over the last years, and we have trained a lot of people, but we don't want to let that wisdom and knowledge go wasted. Well, when we get too old to actually teach it, and we've bring it in such a formula that everyone can now access it, and it's a tool for life. And it's quite simple, because you just, you don't have to have just a bad hair day. Yeah, it's just a thing that, today you're not feeling right, or you have a problem that you always feel like you're in the same circle, you always have the wrong partners, or you always choose, you know, make the wrong decisions, and you keep going on toward, you know, the same circles and circles. And I don't know if you're all familiar with the work of Bruce Lipton, but he says that 95% of our life comes from our subconscious mind. Yeah, and that's why it's so difficult to step out of that, because it's like a recording that is programmed from the age of conception to the age of 7, and it keeps running our life. And it's the same with blockages. Why can't we move forward? Why we sometimes feel stuck? It's the same thing. There is always something that's holding us back. But as soon as you know what's holding you back, there can be some progress. And it's not that all of a sudden this is a wonder box and that it will do everything. It won't do the dishes for you. It won't do, you know, all the hard work. However, it will change your perspective. You'll look at it from a different angle. And there are always more sides to a problem. Whatever the problem is, there are always different angles. And your subconscious knows the solution, what is right for you. Yeah? And color will allow your subconscious to become conscious. It's the same like all these images. There are several images, and you could always look at it, you know, from two sides. First, you only see one side, then if you look further, you see the other side. And there's not a right or a wrong, it's just the moment. That is an interesting thing. Once you've seen it, you cannot not see it anymore. Yeah? So once you had the solution, or you saw another perspective, you cannot not see it anymore. So I just want to have a little bit of fun, because I always think that the proof is in the pudding. I could talk for hours and hours, and you know, but I just want to play, and I'm very open to suggestions or questions. I've got the forms back, and there are quite a few people who have magenta or fuchsia as a favorite color, and there are quite a few people who have blue as a favorite color. And it's interesting because the people who have the fuchsia or magenta, well, you know who you are, as a favorite color. They are quite compassionate. These are people who are they're very reliable, very compassionate, and they will always go the extra mile. They have a very, very large heart, very sensitive as well, and also a very great eye for detail. What is one of the most interesting things with the magenta, they think out of the square, or they think out of the box. They can be very innovative thinkers, and they're not afraid of being different. The other thing and I think that is also typical for this group, because we are thinking a little bit out of the box. The other color was blue. And blue is the color of the teachers, the counselors, the coaches, the people who bring confidence to others, and other people will just confide. They're very good caregivers, good nurses, good parents. They can make other people feel at ease, and other people will often confide with them. So that's interesting that these two colors are quite in this group. But now I want to go into more detail, because, and I will see how far we get, because I had I have here is number 4. Favorite color is fuchsia. They do wear it. If you have a favorite color and you do wear it, you are actually tapping into that potential. If you do have a favorite color and you're not wearing it, you have that potential, but you're not utilizing it. This person has recently been attracted to purple, like a year ago. And so it tells me that a year ago, probably something happened that they got a new idea, or they have a new way of a vision, or something that they want to do to actually contribute to humankind. They want to have something that they want to share with the world, to make this world a better world. But this person is something that they dislike is the olive or lime green. And it's also, no, I will do that later. So the olive and lime green, if there's a dislike of that color, it could be that something has happened, that they were not able to actually spread their wings or go into the direction they want to go in. Yeah, they have to accommodate others, and it's like their wings are clipped. If I'm saying something that you say, no, it's not true, then tell me. There's another person, number 7, whose favorite color is magenta. Predominantly in the home is green. Recently been attracted to navy blue. So that again is telling me that this person, it could be that they have now come into a new job, or they've started a new business on their own, or finally they are getting into the position of being the authority or the expert they want to be or become. And I will get back into the color brown that a lot of people have issues with, but I will show that in the Colournostics later on. There's this person who really dislikes to wear black, or never wears black. Well, that is good, because black is one of the most worn colors in the corporate world at the moment, and you know, it has its place. Sometimes when you really dislike black, you have to just be cautious that you're not always giving and not always being open towards everyone's you know, influence. But most of the people wear too much black, because it's like a border, and it just shuts out other influences. And when people are in that phase of wearing a lot of black, what could happen, 2 things. You can fall into a deep depression, because it's like you're shutting out the light, and we've talked about the importance of light. And one of the things what I've noticed, especially with younger people, they want to fit in, but they're not sure about who they are, or what their personality is, or their potential. They go into black, they want to be unnoticed, and they, before you know it, they can just wither away. It's just like, you know, you go into a deep black hole. However, sometimes people need some black just to be left, just left by themselves. In the old age, we had, you know, the widow would have to wear black for a year just to come to terms with it and process it. I will go further with a lot of people have a lot of white in their home, and that is also an indication that people like to be open to new directions and new ideas, and they need a certain kind of freedom. Yeah, I'm for sure one of those. I love, you know, just let me do my own thing, and don't interfere too much. I will figure it out. This person has, as number 25, has recently been attracted to violet. It's a year ago. Again, it's a color that is saying that you have probably got like maybe an inspiration or of doing more of connection with the unseen world by meditating or you know, getting that understanding of that, hey, we are also spiritual beings. It's not only hard work. And so yeah, you got into that thing of, okay, I have to listen to guidance, or I have to be open to the unseen world. I will go into that deeper later on. Okay, this is number 3. For a while it was pink, so onwards blue took its place. For the whole time it was pink. Okay, if someone all of a sudden is attracted to soft pink, for instance, there's always something new happening. It could be a new idea, a new birth, a new beginning, anything, but now it's got blue in its place. It also, I'm not quite sure how to read this, but okay. This is an interesting one. This person's favorite color is burgundy, number 26. And burgundy is not a color that is a favorite for a lot of people, especially not amongst young people, because this is a color that is actually a color that is relates to wisdom, elegance, but also an understanding of what is important in life, and also appreciating the little things in life and the finer things in life. And it's using their authority and power in a very mature way. Yeah, it's not just blabbing out things. They have a very strong determination, and they know how to enjoy life. This person also has it a lot in their home. So they need that wealth of things and beauty also in their life to feel comfortable. Being attracted to a new color. The new color was blue several months ago. If someone all of a sudden started with blue, it's always it's an indication that they found a way to actually communicate with the world, or say something what was on their mind, or maybe they've written a book, or they've written a thesis, but also often people who have been have experienced mistrust. You know, they were betrayed in a relationship or with friendships or colleagues, and when they get over that and they find that trust back, you know, within themselves and also within the work, then blue will come into their place. For me, blue is a very important color because if you don't trust life itself, it can give you a lot of anxiety, and it's quite important to have, in my opinion, blue, pink, and white into your life, because the white is who you are. Shine your true light and shine who you are. And soft pink is also about unconditional love, but especially for yourself, And blue is about trust life, go with the flow of life, because if you don't trust life itself, it can be a very lonely place. This person's favorite color is orange, and these people are often quite fun to be around with. They're very enthusiastic, social people, and they learn best by experiencing, and they love to motivate others, and the enthusiastic behavior really encourages other people to do the same thing, or you know, they drive the party and the social communities. They love to share, but not only what they've got, but especially their wisdom and their knowledge. And this person has recently been attracted to green some months ago, and that is an indication that she has made, or he has made, a decision to go into a new direction. It could be also a new job, it could be a new partner, that the partner could be personal or private, or in a relationship, or with work. And yeah, it's a new beginning. It's really moving forward. And a lot of people have issues with green, because green is the color of the heart. Well, we all know that. And it's our heart. Most of the people have had heartache. Yeah, and green is also the color of protecting your own boundaries, and most of us, our boundaries have been overstepped in the past, or when we were very young, or later in life. And to get that back, you know, and move forward, instead of going and staying, you know, with that memory, integrate green, because it could help you to heal and bring harmony. So I want to now show you a little bit about the Colournostics. So it's a box of therapy in a box. And what it is, we call it a process. A lot of people call it a game. And it's not a game because it goes quite deep. However, it looks like a game. So you have a whole board, and on the board there are all the colors, and it's very simple. You choose a color that represents your issue, your problem, and I will go through some of them and read it out to you.